Welcome to our webinar, Preparing Financially for College. We are excited to have you joining us here today. My name is Christine Self with Parent and Family Relations, and joining me today are Kendall Clendenin from Student Business Services and Christina Monticello from Student Financial Aid and Scholarships. This webinar is part of our Red Raider Family Webinar Series, where we share information on topics of interest to parents, families, and supporters of our students. And you can see some of the upcoming webinars that we have in store for the rest of summer, so we hope you'll sign up for some of those too. Our hope is that this webinar will help you understand some key aspects of financing your students' college experience at Texas Tech and some of the financial support resources available. We plan to keep the webinar to about 30 minutes or so. We hope to have time for questions at the end of the session, so feel free to use the Zoom Q&A feature to ask questions throughout the presentation, and we will get to those. We'll also share contact information so that you can follow up as needed. We are recording this session and posting it to our website so that you'll be able to review it again later or share it with others. And I'll also email the recording link to the email that you used to register for the webinar. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Kendall from Student Business Services.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Texas Tech family. I'm just going to be going over all the things you need to know in regards to paying that bill for the fall. So the biggest thing is your payment is due August 21st. So you will either need to be paid in full on the 21st of August or enrolled into a payment plan. And so your student can add you as a parent as an authorized user. So you can have your own login to view the bill, pay the bill, enroll into a payment plan. And then we also have a new feature called on-demand statements. And this is where you can view the bill and it's going to be itemized. And if your student were to make any late registration changes, it would simultaneously change within the e-bill and you would view that updated bill right then, instantaneously. And so if your student in their Raider link in the e-bill can add you as that authorized user, so you can have your own login so that you can pay that bill or enroll into a payment plan and have it set up by that due date of August 21st. Now, we do offer two types of payment plans. So we have the budget payment plan, which will open July 27th. And then we have the emergency payment plan, which will open August 14th, which is the same day financial aid and scholarships should post to your students' accounts. And so we also ask your students to fill out FERPA. Now, FERPA and authorized users are two separate things. FERPA is like HIPAA, but for education. So they can add you to the FERPA waiver through their Raider link on the right-hand side. And I already mentioned authorized user. That's for you as a bill payer to have your own login and access, and you'll also receive email communications that we send to your students because this is where we're going to send your student their bill only through TTU emails and on those on-demand statements on the e-bill as well. If you are using any veteran or military benefits, we ask that you contact the Military and Veteran Program Office first. You'll need to submit all your documentation through them. You are able to do that through your student's Raider link. The student will have to do it on their Raider link, and it's over on the right-hand side as well. But if you were to have any questions, we ask that you contact their office first. There's way more information on our website, some great resources for you all. We have a bunch of exemptions and waivers, even for our bordering county, bordering state, which would be Oklahoma and New Mexico students. You could receive equivalent to in-state tuition. That will become available to fill out come early August, and we will be sending email communications to your students. And so if your student has signed you up as an authorized user, you will receive that email as well, and you'll be in the know. So just two big things is that authorized user and your payment due date of August 21st. And I see that Christina has added the links over here in the chat. So please give that a look.
One question we are getting, Kendall, if you don't mind, Exactly where can they find information on how to set up that authorized user on the SBS website? I can put
Yes.
the link too.
Okay. So your student will need to do it through their Rater link under the Student Business Services tab, and it's going to be the first little hyperlink there. It's called the e-bill, and so you're going to click on the e-bill, or your student will, and then over on the right-hand side of the e-bill, it's going to say Authorized User. You'll click on the authorized user, input up to 5 different emails. So mom, dad, grandparents, whoever would like to have access. And then it will shoot you an email with your own login access to be an authorized user.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
And next,
Yes.
oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I just saw this question about signing up for the payment plan. So if you're an authorized user, you can use your login to go to the e-bill and enroll into a payment plan. The budget payment plan is going to open July 27th, and the emergency payment plan will open August 14th.
Wonderful. I'm going to put a link to payment plans in the chat as well.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Well, we'll go ahead and change over to student financial aid and scholarships, but please do go ahead and put your questions in there, and we can provide answers in the Q&A for you. And we'll also have time at the end to answer some questions for you. So now we'll turn it over to Christina.
Good afternoon. We're excited that your students are headed this direction. So in order for them to do that, they may need financial aid assistance, and we are happy to help you. Applying for financial aid is a matter of completing an application. So they either need to do the FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid, or the TAFSA. So the TAFSA is for students who are non-US citizens, but they are Texas residents. You do one of these applications, not both of them. So just make sure that your student is completing an application. If they haven't done that already, now is the time. So you will use your 2021 tax data to complete this year's FAFSA. Make sure they're completing the 2023-2024 application. What I need to tell you about the FAFSA, just as a heads up, is that it says they open October 1st, but that's not going to happen this year. So there are changes coming in our world. FAFSA simplification is a new law that has passed, and it will be implemented this fall. So the FAFSA is not anticipated to open until December. So stay tuned for more information from our office about those changes. On to the next one. If your tax information from 2021 does not accurately represent your current life situation and 2023 looks entirely different, then we want to help you through whatever special circumstances you're going through. So if you've had some life circumstances happen, whether that be a loss of employment or loss of a family member, any of those things, and we need to walk you through that special circumstance application, we can. It's available on our website. There is a video there as well. You can also come see us at Red Raider Orientation. When you're here, sit down with an advisor and get additional information on completing that form. There is going to be documentation required, so we're happy to help you through all of that. If your student completed a FAFSA and they are an incoming freshman, then they were automatically awarded $5,500 in direct loans from the government. They don't have to take those loans. We encourage families to only take what you need. Some students will have received 2 different types of loans. So subsidized loans are need-based loans. If you have to choose between sub and unsub loans, then we would tell you to take the subsidized loans first. And that is because the government does pay the interest while your student is in school. So the loans won't earn any interest until 6 months after they graduate. So those are the better loans to take if you can. They are need-based, so not all students receive those loans. Unsubsidized loans will start accumulating interest in August when they pay. So we say that they make us unhappy, and that's how we remember the types of the difference between the two types of loans. So certainly for some students, taking out loans is an investment in their future. And again, we just recommend that you only take what you need. If students accidentally accepted their loans and they don't want them, we can cancel them. If they accidentally canceled them and they need them, then they just need to email us. We'll be glad to put them back for you. We can make those changes throughout the year. That is not a problem. If they're offered to you and you just don't know if you need them yet, because you haven't seen your bill, you don't know what you're going to owe, just let them sit there. That's okay. They won't be canceled until later in the year, so they can sit there for a while. I think the next slide is about additional loans, and for some families, these are a necessity. So if you find yourself in that situation, we have a lot of different options on our website in the borrower resources section. And what we have to tell you is to do your research and decide what's best for your family. I will tell you that interest rates are increasing as of July 1st. And so do your homework and find the best interest rate. I will also tell you that we can only guarantee that these loans, your college access loans, private loans, or parent loans, we can only guarantee that they will be on your bill when payments are due if you complete those applications by July 1st. So please don't wait on these. Our loan team ends up with a whole lot to process in July and August. And so the earlier that you get these applications into us, the better off you will be. If your students need a job when they get to campus, we highly recommend that they work on campus. We do limit their hours to 20 or less each week. We also understand that they're here to be students first. And so we care about them and their academics. And if they're tired, we can send them home. They may not get that with an off-campus job. So we encourage them to look for employment. This website will be available to them beginning August 1st. So just like anything on campus, jobs are first come, first serve. We have a lot of positions available. And so I would just encourage your students to start looking beginning August 1st. Some of our students are lucky enough to be selected for verification. The Department of Education selects about 30% of our students to go through an additional review process. The number one form of verification that we are seeing right now is identity verification, and that is just because identity theft is so common in our world. So if your student does have outstanding requirements on their account, please clear those up as soon as possible. Their financial aid won't pay until they're done. And just like our loan team, our verification team is going to be incredibly busy this summer. So the earlier you get this information to us, the better off you will be. All of our students have an advisor assigned to them by their last name. So please take the time to find out who that person is. Our advisors are fairly caught up right now. In July and August, I can promise you they will not be caught up. So the earlier you reach out to them, the earlier we can help you jump through these hoops and get all of this wrapped up. So all you have to worry about in August is just moving them in. So find your advisor and reach out to them soon. If you have questions for any of us while you're on campus at Red Raider Orientation, there will be a session much like this one where one of us presents a lot of the same information. We will also have a resource fair where we're available at the counter. And then on day 2 of orientation, you'll have the opportunity to sit down one-on-one with some of our financial aid advisors. We have 5 at every session. So if you need to bring some paperwork, sit down, ask questions at Red Raider Orientation, we would encourage you to do that. When you get to orientation, if the lines are incredibly long and it's a pretty day on campus and you want to just walk over to West Hall, we will be happy to help you there. That's also where your student can find us when they're on campus. So go to 301 West Hall. We share that space. with Kendall's team in Student Business Services. So we can help you out in both capacities there. Let's talk a little bit about scholarships. So for this academic year, in our office, everything has been awarded and we are done. So if your student was lucky enough to receive or earn a merit scholarship, they're going to need to write a thank you letter. And those thank you letters are going to be due on August 1st. They need to log into RadarLink, accept their scholarship, and then the thank you letter portal link will appear. All they need to do is click that link, type the text of their thank you letter. They don't have to know who it's to. They just need to say thank you, tell us a little bit about themselves, what their goals are at Texas Tech, and then they need to push the red button. The red button is for submit. So there is a green button, and that would make sense, but we are Red Raiders, so please make sure they click the red button. Again, those letters are due on August 1st. If your student received money from our College of Agriculture or the College of Engineering, those scholarships cannot be accepted online, and your students need to work directly with their colleges to accept their scholarships and write their thank you letters. We would encourage students to apply for scholarships every single year. So our continuing student scholarship application opens on October 1st and it closes on February 1st. Conveniently placed in between those two dates is winter break. And so we send them back home to you to sit on your couch and eat all of your food. And that is the very best time for them to complete scholarship applications. So that application is the only one that they need to do for Texas Tech scholarships competitively for every college, every department. And then at the university level here in our office, that application should cover them. There may be other opportunities on campus, and so we encourage you to reach out to your colleges and departments, tech announce, social media. There could be announcements for additional scholarship opportunities there. We have talked about competitive scholarships, and thank you letters. So if you have any questions about that, then I would be happy to answer them at the end. If your student receives scholarships from home, we need you to do a couple of things. So if you go to scholarships.ttu.edu, you're going to see a picture. Underneath that picture are some icons, and there's a trophy on the far right side. If you'll click that trophy, it's going to take them to a form. We would ask that on that form, they submit their scholarships that they will be receiving only for this next year. So if they got a scholarship from the Houston Livestock Show and it's $20,000 in total, they're only going to get $5,000 this year. So submit the $5,000 amount. This allows us to just work through any financial aid adjustments that have to happen as a result of external scholarships. Our address is there if you need to mail those to us. We will also accept checks from you either during move-in, or you can bring them to Red Raider orientation if you already have them. Just please make sure that anytime you're submitting a check to our office, it has the student's name and the R number on the front of the check somewhere. So we process every check that we get every day, and those are going to show up on your students' accounts as miscellaneous scholarships. If you don't know exactly which scholarship showed up, just give us a call or an email, and we can let you know that information.
All right, well, I want to thank our presenters, and we have lots of time to answer your questions. So I'm going to be reading some of these that you've submitted in the Q&A feature out loud so that Kendall and Christina can answer those for you. One of the ones we got pretty early on in our session is, how do students put their direct deposit information in?
Yes, I was trying to answer these and none of mine would submit. So for My Direct Deposit, your student can go to their Radar link under the Student Business Services tab and click on My Direct Deposit and input their banking information. Or, parents, you can talk to your students if you want your bank account information so that you can receive any potential refunds. So they can input their bank information or yours, whoever you'd like, to receive that refund instead of waiting on a mailed check. We do also have that My Direct Deposit link on our website. That is just easier for the student to get to, but it is on their radar link under Student Business Services.
And then another question that we got has to do with payment plans. And so someone writes that their son is attending the June 27th orientation and registering for classes then. Are there ways to sign up for the payment plan earlier than July, or how does that work?
No, so no one will have a bill until July 27th. So, you can't enroll into a payment plan or make any types of payments. So on July 27th, the budget payment plan will be open to enroll on the student's radar link, or as an authorized user, if you can log into your account and enroll into the payment plan. And then on August 14th is whenever the emergency payment plan will open, which is the same day that financial aid and scholarships will post to your student's account.
And can you talk a little bit about 529 plans and how those payments can be coordinated to TTU?
Yes. So with 529s, typically you as a parent has to reach out to your 529 directly and just give them the bill amount and tell them how much you want them to pay, all of it, a portion of it, whatever it might be. And then you give them your student's R number as well, and they will send Texas Tech a check directly. And so we will post that for your student as long as it has the student's R number on it and it is made out to Texas Tech.
And here's an interesting one. It has to do with student loans and getting lots of mail from companies wanting, soliciting, people to apply for student loans through them. What do you know about that? And is it better to just apply using FAFSA? What do we know about these kinds of mails about student loans that people might get?
I think it depends on the company, and really, we're not allowed to address each individual company. I will tell you that we deal with a lot of different lenders. And so Sallie Mae, Discover, Earnest, all of those are very popular with people who want private loans. What I said about interest rates is incredibly important. And really, we have to just tell you that what you do is what you need to do is what's best for your family. And so if it's a company that you deal with normally, I would probably recommend that you start there.
And here's a question that we get a lot. It has to do with the bill. Does the bill have tuition and housing on it?
Yes. So your total bill that will come out July 27th, it'll have your tuition and fees, housing and dining, and then parking if you have not already paid for that. So yes, it'll be a total of everything.
And here's one about needing some verification from Texas Tech in order to receive a scholarship. Someone asks, my child received a scholarship and I have a document that Tech needs to fill out and verify she is a full-time student for it to be paid out. Will that be done once she is registered for classes, or will it happen once classes actually start?
It will happen as soon as they're actually enrolled in classes, which happens at Red Raider orientation. So just submit that. You can bring that with you to orientation, give it to our team, and we will submit it on your behalf.
Awesome, thank you. Let's see. So here's one asking about merit scholarships. And I think you touched on this, but for merit-based TTU scholarship, it says it renews as long as the GPA requirements are met. Do you have to, quote, reapply, unquote, for those, or does it happen automatically?
Merit scholarship renewal happens as long as the student, it happens automatically as long as the student meets the requirement. So your students will be required to complete 30 Texas Tech credit hours by August of every year. So they have fall, spring, and summer to complete those 30 Texas Tech credit hours. And they do have to maintain the required GPA. And the GPA is, it varies based on the amount of merit scholarship that they were awarded. In the event that a student does not meet the requirements, they would be placed on probation. And in the probationary semester, they receive their scholarship. but they also have to take and complete 15 credit hours and earn the required GPA to move on from there. So we do offer them a little bit of grace during that probationary period. The only thing that leads to an automatic cancellation of a merit scholarship is a GPA of below a 2.0.
Thank you. And here's one about out-of-state waiver. So person writes, my child is from out of state and has received a scholarship from the ag department. How would they go about getting out-of-state tuition waived?
So as long as the ag department entered the scholarship as competitive in the scholarship tracking system, and I'm sure they did, then your waivers will apply towards your bill the first week of class. So as long as you can see the scholarship on your account and it is greater than $1,000, the waiver will apply the first week of August. And then the scholarship would actually apply on August 15th or so.
All right. And then this one has to do with billing and payment plans. Are there service fees for those payment plans, for the budget plan specifically?
There is a $25 one-time enrollment fee. So you'll just pay the $25 to enroll for the semester, and that's it. And there's no interest for these plans. It's just to help you break up your bill into installments.
Okay. And let's see. Sorry, I'm reading. There's a bunch of questions here, so I'm just kind of reading through those that we have not answered yet.
I did see one about asking about housing, if it's for the full year or half a year.
Yes.
They are going to split your housing and dining. It's going to be 60% in the fall and 40% in the spring. So spring will be a little bit cheaper for your housing and dining, but it's not going to be the total bill due this semester.
Right. And again, I think this has already been answered, but our son received a scholarship of over $1,000 and it says he will qualify for out-of-state tuition. Do we need to do something special? That happens automatically, correct?
It will. Yep.
Got it. Thank you. And then let's see. Someone asked, how do we confirm that our students submitted their FERPA and thank you for scholarships?
I would say email your advisor and we'll look it up and let you know. We can see all of those things online.
So bet would be best to just contact you directly and contact, not you, Christina Monticello, but contact financial aid.
Contact their advisor. Yep.
Yeah, got it. Thank you. Lots of questions still about 529s. If there's an issue with 529s, or sorry, is there an issue with 529s paying in time? It seems like a short turnaround from when you get the bill until payment is due.
So it really just depends. It's usually about 7 to 10 business days. It's really kind of up to your student to watch their rater link and their e-bill, see if we have received that 529 check. If we haven't by the payment due date or the day before, so that'd be August 20th, August 21st by 4 p.m., you'll need to enroll into the emergency payment plan. By enrolling into the emergency payment plan, it will buy you an extra month, allowing time for your payment from 529 to come in. So it's up to you if on, let's say when you receive the first big bill before any financial aid or scholarships have applied on July 27th, you could send them that raw bill. Then now if you are waiting on any financial aid or scholarships to hit to decrease, then we receive that 529 and it's a bigger balance, they'll just pay it and then your financial aid or scholarships might hit and you might receive a refund. So you'd want to set up your My Direct Deposit in case there is any type of overpayment there. But it's really up to you if you just want to kind of wait and see if we receive it in time. Typically we receive them in time, but it's really just up to them.
All right, thank you. Well, we are at 12:30, so we're going to stop our video and stop our recording, but we'll stay on just a little bit to answer those questions that have already been placed in the Q&A to get those done. And I do want to share with you a couple of things. While we're typing those answers for you, here is our contact information for parent and family relations, student business services, and student financial aid and scholarships. We will be posting the video recording on our webinar's website here in just a little bit. And we would love for you to take our quick survey to let us know how we did today. We hope that we have done a good job of sharing out information and answering your questions, but we'd like to hear from you. So please take a second to take our quick survey. And then, like I said, if you've got a question out there in a Q&A, stay on. We're gonna answer those for you. But thank you once again for joining us today, and thank you to our presenters. Do sign up for our future webinars. I'll share that link out in the chat here in just a minute. Thanks, everybody.